Welcome back, Mando.
Greetings, Bucketheads. Mevar Tagar. Welcome to another exciting Bantha Tracks bonus show of MandoVision. I am your host, Nargai Tom, and thank you so much for checking out our small independent Star Wars podcast. We're so glad you're here. If you're not already doing it, follow us on those socials, Mando_Vision on X and Insta, MandoVision at Blue Sky, and of course you can email the show, MandoVisionTom@gmail.com, and make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and share the show with all the Mandalorians in your covert. Bucketheads, it's a bonus show. I've got a couple things to talk about. You know, nothing crazy, but you know, we're fam. We're part of the same community. So why not talk about something that has happened and that I want to strongly encourage all you fine people to check out and take part in. So what we're going to do is we are going to talk about the new sci-fi extravaganza that's now in theaters nationwide, worldwide, possibly. That is Project Hail Mary, based off the novel by what, Peter Weir? That's all right? Sure. I'll double check that in a second. But yes, we're going to talk about the movie real quick. We're going to keep it fairly spoiler free. And it's coming up right now, so you know what that means. It's time. Strap on your buckets. Let's go.
Get out of here. We'll hold them off. You're going to have to relocate the covert. This is the way. This is the way.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it. The book Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Apologies, I don't know why I said Peter. The adaptation is out now in theaters, and it is a movie that I highly recommend. I feel like most people out there, we enjoyed the last adaptation of an Andy Weir novel, which was The Martian by Ridley Scott, starring Matt Damon. We all loved that. We had a great time with that. And this is sort of, I don't know, in the same vein in many senses, but so much more grandiose, so much more epic in scope and scale, and leans into more real science and science fiction at the same time. Like if there's one thing I can say about the work of Andy Weir, is that he blends science fact and science fiction so wonderfully. Again, the Martian, probably more science fact. I mean, that is a movie very grounded in reality. And as heavy as the science is in Project Hail Mary, I think they make it very accessible for an audience in the theaters, right? If I were to compare and contrast the novel to the film, I would say that the film does take the science and it just like it wants you to go with it. You know, just like, hey, this is it. This is what we're doing. This is how it works, and just come along with us because it all does make sense. But you're not here for this part of it. You're here for the human emotion. You're here for the emotional connections that this movie wants you to forge with its characters. And I think, by and large, it delivers on that. Again, when you have the book, you know, you have the Ryland Grace character, who in the film is played by Ryan Gosling, sort of walking you through the science. And while there is a decent amount of that in the film, it's less important that you have a solid understanding of all the scientific concepts that are in the novel. And I think that's good because again, a cinematic experience is very different than a novel experience. And as much as the science is real and important, listen, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a science person. I'm not a math and science guy. I was a reading and writing guy. And so one of the things that I think is so nice about the work that Andy Weir does in his novels is that he makes science and the concepts of the novels that he does It's all completely over my head, but he has a wonderful way of filtering it through his main protagonists and relaying it in sort of like layman's dumb terms. All right, and that's one reason why I've really enjoyed Andy Weir's novels over the years, whether it's The Martian or Project Hail Mary or Artemis, the film the book that was supposed to be adapted next until Project Hail Mary came out. And Ryan Gosling decided that this was the one he wanted to be involved in. And Lord and Miller were like, this is the one we want to be involved in. Artemis is great, but Project Hail Mary, like, we can do this right now. This is way more go. Way more of a go feature. So if you don't know the trailers, if you don't know anything about Project Hail Mary, again, I do highly recommend reading the book. But you don't need to do that for this film because it is a fairly faithful adaptation. One of the things I was very concerned about going into the film, having read the book, was if they would make alterations to some of the big surprises in the film. Now, one of the big surprises in the book, they put in the very first trailer. Like, you know from the jump that there is an alien presence in this movie. What you don't get teased, what you don't get hints of, is sort of like the bigger sort of twist, the sort of bigger surprise, as far as Ryland and his journey into space goes. And again, I won't spoil that here, but I will say that it was so significant that when I was reading the book, I put it down for several days because it forced me to sort of rethink what I thought of this character and what I thought of everything I had known before that moment had been revealed. And if there's one thing in the movie, I don't want to say it's a knock necessarily, but I do think it's possible for some audience members to get a little bit lost in the sauce, as it were, because when this movie starts, when we open up, we are on the Project Hail Mary. We are deep in space. We've left our solar system. And Dr. Ryland Grace, played by Ryan Gosling, wakes up from a coma, an induced coma, and has no memory of exactly what the heck is going on. And as an audience, we are informed via flashback of the things that occurred prior, leading up to him going to space. And I do sort of think that it can be sort of misinterpreted, that as we are seeing the flashbacks, Ryland is recovering these memories. And I think that is a small little knock on the film, but I could be looking into it. So if anyone out there is saying, no, you're wrong, like that, no, I totally understood that he's recovering these memories as we see them, then perfect. And that is clearly the intent of the filmmakers. Important to note, too, I am a big fan of Lord and Miller. I do really wish we had seen their version of Solo, despite the fact that I have come around 180 on Solo since I first saw it, and it has become one of my favorites. I do really wish I had seen what they had in mind for this movie, for what they had in mind for that movie. But what they've done with the Lego movies and everything else they've been involved in, the Spider-Verse stuff, I mean, Lord and Miller, they know how to hit the right emotional notes. So getting them to do this movie with a charismatic actor like Ryan Gosling, who's about to be in a Star Wars film of his own, Starfighter, coming soon to theaters near you, was something of note for a lot of us Star Wars fans. And again, sci-fi doesn't really play super big in cinemas right now. Obviously, the Dune series is sort of like the big landmark sci-fi right now. But a movie like this that is contained and is a one-off and just so very, very human, I highly recommend this film to you. I don't want to, again, not to go into the spoils of things, but Ryland Grace on Project Hail Mary, out to save the universe. The sun of the Earth is dying, and he has to go to space to figure out why and how to stop it. It's very simple. It's straightforward. But all the emotion that they have in this movie is very, very real. And Ryan Gosling is fantastic in it. He does so much of the heavy lifting in this film because so much of this movie is him by himself. But in flashbacks, when he's with other characters, those scenes are dynamic. They are electric. And then, of course, is his companion in space. And I'm reluctant to say too much about that. But Rocky is awesome. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I highly recommend this film. I think you will all get a blast out of it. Again, if you enjoyed The Martian, this is in the same vein as one of those movies that like reminds us that despite everything going on in the news and in the real world, that there is hope and optimism and belief that we can be good and better people than we are when it comes time to forget about the extra stuff and deal with the important things. And those are the kind of movies that I think are really important and really resonant right now because, again, we've been through scary, dark times as a society, as a civilization before, and too many. We are in another stretch of those right now, and we don't have. Well, we do have Star Trek, but Star Trek used to be sort of like the bastion of optimism and that we could rise above. And I don't know if new Star Trek does that as well as I'd like it to. But the work of Andy Weir and filmmakers like Lord Miller and Ryan Gosling have created a film that is hopeful and optimistic and reminds us that we can be so much more than we are if we can get past certain things, prejudices, misconceptions of others in the world around us. I strongly urge you to watch the movie. It's fantastic. It's emotional. It's funny. They lean into a little bit more of the funny than they do the science. The book's a little sciencey, but still funny. The movie's a little bit more funny, less sciencey. Check it out. It's a good time. It is, and visually, a stunning movie to look at. Deserves to be seen on the biggest screen possible. If you can, go see it in the IMAX. A great movie. And again, a lot of Star Wars connections. Lord Miller fired from Solo. Ryan Gosling about to have his own Star Wars movie. I believe some of the production designers and prop people are also Star Wars alumni. So a lot of crossover there with the material. But check out this movie. Don't sleep on it. Don't wait for it to come on TV. This is a movie worthy of going out into the cinemas to see. And I say that as someone who does not go out to the cinemas very often. But 2026 is looking like the year where Tom will be in the movie theaters a lot. And I'm okay with that because it looks like we finally have the amount of movies, the quality of movies that I want to see in cinemas. So buckle up, Bucketheads, because odds are you're going to be getting something that we haven't really done on the podcast before, which is me talking about movies I'm seeing in the theaters, especially if it pertains to science fiction and any sort of connections that we could have with Star Wars. And I think that's all you have to say about it. Again, a 2 thumbs up, highly recommend, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. 10 buckets. The movie's freaking-tastic. You will not regret going. So check it out, all right? And with that being said, we're going to wrap things up for this Bantha Tracks bonus show. Make sure you follow me on the socials, Mando_Vision on X and Insta, MandoVision at Blue Sky. And, of course, you can email me, MandoVisionTom@gmail.com. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and share the show with all the Mandalorians in your covert. If you can, and you're so inclined, sweet 5-star reviews. They help us stand out and not get lost in the Tau Ceti shuffle. Again, this is MandoVision. I am your host, Nargai Tom, and you are part of Buckethead Nation. Thanks for being awesome. Thanks for being kind, supportive, understanding, patient, and wonderful Star Wars fans. Go out there and continue to do the same. Spread the word and let them know that Buckethead Nation, we don't deal with toxicity here. We are all the best, brightest, and most hopeful of Star Wars fans. We'll be back. We are wrapping up our Rebels rewatch. And, of course, we're heading into Maul, Shadow Lord. So get ready for that. All right, Bucketheads. We'll be back very, very soon. Remember, though, this podcast, it only ends one way. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way. suppose you'll be heading out. I'm not. You should. It's against the creed. I gave you my word. I'm with you until we both fall. You really buy into that bantha fodder? I do. Good.
Admiral, we have enemy ships in Sector 47.
It's a trap!